In this tutorial, I'm gonna go over how to use responsive design pre-made templates and change the content. So basically, these are a whole bunch of different templates, and as you could see, for example, if I open up this one, you have like a you have a slider, you have your different pages, but which you would have to make these additional pages, and you have areas for the gallery, and this would be sort of how you would change the content. You just change the information on the page, but the structure is already built for you. And as you could see, you have your fonts that this website uses, you have your CSS, and so on. So I'm gonna go now and let's look at some of the other ones. Actually, let me move this out. So this is one. Another one is, again, this would be like a portfolio type template. So for those of you who want to do their portfolios, this would be a good one to use, where you would just include your project name, and information about each of your pieces. And again, remember, your website needs to be 5 pages. So the portfolio, you could possibly change it and add additional buttons to say, for example, print, motion, photography, and so on. And again, the way that you would do that is you want to make sure you define your site, and you simply would open up your file and find the navigation part. So this is the nav, and basically you just copy and paste, so for example, this would be the about. So you can kind of copy this link, and again, always try to copy the middle one, and then obviously we'll have to change this to the HTML tag. So it would be, let's say gallery or print.html. And you want to make sure you have an actual page, HTML page for that. So if I save this, you could see that I added, the additional buttons here. So this is a really easy one to use. Again, it's the beauty of these websites are that they're already include really high-end and complex coding language in them. So now that you kind of understand the structure of how a web page works, you could just maybe work on the aesthetics, and again, these are highly advanced grids. And as you could see, they have multiple JS files and CSS attached to each one of them. So I'm gonna let you kind of look through these and pick like one that you like the most. And the one thing that's really important is that you have to make sure that the pictures are different, the color palette is different. Basically, you'd have to change all these colors through using CSS, and making sure you have your images folder. I particularly like this template because it uses a light box, which means that when I click it, you can kind of navigate through the pictures. And we're gonna go over Lightbox more in depth later, but this is already has it pre-built. So if I open it up, and if I open up the images folder, you could see under portfolio, you have the full-size images and you have the thumbnails of those images. And if I open this up in CSS, in HTML, and if I go to the gallery, which is right here, and if I click it, you kind of see that I have the source, which is the thumbnail, and then I have the full-size picture right there. So the thumbnails, you would want to change these thumbnails to your thumbnails, and then also change the images to your larger pictures. And I would recommend, like, if you want to use this template, just name them the same as it's named here, so you don't have to relink things. So again, you want to make sure the size is the same. So the large size is 1500 by 808, and the small size is 650 by 350. So just match these sizes so that then you don't have to do a whole lot. And then you have this other one, which I really like too. It's a video template, and again, you want to just look at the video in HTML and match it to the size that you have. So this is also considered to be one page. And then we have, let's see what else, and then this another one page. And this one is a really nice template also. And some of these templates, you can actually purchase them if you want to have like something that has a higher level of functionality. So if I go to this link here, it's taking a little bit. Okay, and then if you go to templates and then go to premium, and for those of you who are interested to continuing on learning more about the web, I strongly recommend that you, look into these premium templates, because they have such high level of functionality that basically they're really advanced programmers who design these. So, I mean, this one is, let's see, which one is this one? It's taking a while to load. So the prices are really very reasonable. It's like less than $10. And then I guess they have a sale. But obviously for this class, you don't need to get these, you don't need to purchase them. But again, if you're going to work for clients, and, and you need to use something that's kind of a high level and more advanced in functionality, I recommend you do that. It's taking a while to load, so let me go back here and look at what else we have here. So, and then I've given you also just a basic wireframe of like a bootstrap type template. I mean, you can use this if you want and add content to it, and obviously you would have to make the extra pages. And then this is another startup. Again, these ones you basically just have to, it's literally like the wireframe of the website. There's no content on it. Okay, let's see if the picture is still loading. Okay, and then so we have these two startups, and I've given you also this is the same one, the Photoshop examples. So you can kind of look at these PSD files just so that you can kind of get an idea in terms of like how you'd want to, design the page, based on the different devices that you're going to be looking at. Let's see if this one loaded. Oops. Yeah, you can kind of see it's pretty advanced layouts. Oops. I'm gonna hide the grid, and you can kind of see. Then basically This is a Photoshop file. You can use these if you wanted to, you know, as a reference. But generally speaking, you do the mockups in Photoshop, you present it to the client, and based on their selection, you build your prototype in Dreamweaver. Okay. Yeah, so for example, this template that we're using is it's like equivalent of $5. But if I click on that, so I've given you the free version of this one. However, if we let's look at the live preview of this, it has a really high advanced gallery. So again, if you're having you have a paying client, you want to make sure you give them something that is worth their money, and give them something that's kind of advanced and in functionality and aesthetically pleasing. So, but I don't know why this is so slow. Okay. And so basically this is, you can choose any of these for your next project, any of these templates. Again, I like you to kind of dive in and challenge yourself, because you know, you want to have variety in your portfolio. Now that you understand how Dreamweaver functions, how you can make an interactive web page, this would be our next challenge. The one thing that you want to make sure, let's say you decide on one of these templates. First, I'd like you to keep all of these for your reference, because you can, you know, you have different clients, you don't want to give them the same kind of a look, right? So you can, any of these you can use it, as long as you make sure to give the, you know, read the, you know, the README page and give the coders credit. But you can use any of these are all free. So let's say you decide to use this one, the Lightbox one. So the way you want to use that is, you want to make a duplicate copy. Then you want to take the duplicate copy out. So, and you want to make sure Dreamweaver is not, you know, just quit out of Dreamweaver. You want to give it your name, last name, project 2, or whatever project you're working on, and then you want to start Dreamweaver. You want to keep these as a backup, because sometimes you may do things to the template or the CSS and you may have to go back to the original template. So you want to have this as a backup, save it somewhere, and then this is going to be your working folder. So you want to open up Dreamweaver, define your site, point to this folder before you do anything else, and then you want to work on, you know, whatever, you know, changing the background using the CSS, changing these colors, changing the title of your pages, and so on. And obviously resizing your pictures. And like I said, it would be best if you're using something like this, making sure to name, like, match the size of the thumbnails and the full size to this sizes that we have here, and then make sure you give it the same name. So it's much easier, then you don't have to relink everything. It's just going to populate. And that's basically how you can use these responsive design free templates. And it looks like that website is still trying to load, which I don't know why it's taking forever. But at some point you can just go on your own and visit to get an idea of how the premium templates work.